25 films, 6 actors, over 50 firearms. This is every gun James Bond has carried on screen, from 1962 to 2021. This video examines firearms strictly as historical movie props and within a film analysis context. It is not about real-world use, tactics, or instruction. We are starting from the very beginning and going through every single film. Let us start with Sean Connery, the original Bond, and the 1962 film Dr. No. This is where the legend begins. Connery set the template for all future Bonds, suave, deadly, and gadget-reliant. In his very first scene at MI6 headquarters, Bond hands over a Beretta M1934 chambered in 380 ACP. M, his boss, tells him the gun jammed on a previous mission and nearly got him killed. The props department chose this little Italian pistol for a reason. It weighs just 23 ounces and was popular during World War II with Italian forces. It was small enough to hide easily, but the film treats it as outdated and unreliable for a secret agent. In the original novels, author Ian Fleming had given Bond a Beretta, but firearms expert Jeffrey Boothroyd wrote to Fleming suggesting the Walther as a better choice. The films followed this advice. Bond then receives the Walther PP in 380 ACP. The armorer tells him it works well with a suppressor. He carries this holstered through most of the film. Later in the movie, he uses an FN Browning M1910 with a suppressor attached to kill Professor Dent in a hotel room. The M1910 was a Belgian design by John Browning, only 6 inches long. This same model was famously used in the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand back in 1914. The gun barrel sequence also features a Walther PPK in 32 ACP. This compact German pistol would become the most famous movie gun of all time. The PPK offered a 7+1 capacity and quick draw capabilities that made it perfect for a secret agent. This single prop choice would define Bond's image for generations. Moving to 1963 and From Russia with Love, Connery relies heavily on the Walther PPK throughout the film. The Cold War setting meant European and American firearms mixed together on screen, reflecting the tensions of the era. He uses the PPK in the Gypsy Camp shootout, draws it on the villain Red Grant during a memorable train fight, and finds another one hidden in a special attaché case designed by Q Branch. Grant even attaches a suppressor to it during their confrontation. The PPK measures just 6.1 inches long, making it perfect for concealed carry. West German police actually issued this exact model, and if you carry concealed, you might own one yourself. Smith & Wesson eventually manufactured licensed versions for the American market. Bond also assembles an Armalite AR-7 rifle in .22 long rifle during this film. The movie mistakenly calls it a .25 caliber. He attaches a suppressor and an infrared scope, then uses it to take out the enemy agent Krylenko from a distance. The AR-7 was originally designed for U.S. Air Force pilots as a survival rifle. It breaks down and fits inside its own floating stock, weighing only 2.5 pounds. If you hike or backpack, you might have seen one of these in the wild. Goldfinger came out in 1964 and switched things up. Bond uses a Walther P38 and 9mm during a factory shootout against the villain's men. He later takes one from a guard and hands it to Pussy Galore. The P38 served as the standard German military sidearm during World War II. It featured a double-action trigger and held 8 rounds. If you collect firearms, you probably know how prized this one is for its innovative design, which influenced later handguns like the Beretta 92. There is a fun continuity error in this film. A guard points a Smith & Wesson Model 36 at Bond near the Aston Martin, but in the next shot, it changes to a P38. The Model 36 is an American snub-nose revolver still in production today. Thunderball in 1965 brings back the Walther PPK in 380 ACP. Bond uses it both with and without a suppressor attached. He searches rooms with it drawn, and at one point drops it, causing an accidental discharge. This kind of realistic detail added to the film's credibility. Thunderball also features shotguns during a skeet shooting scene at a country estate. Bond handles a Remington Model 58 and remarks that it suits a woman better. He then demonstrates his skills with a Browning Auto 5, hitting clay pigeons from the hip with impressive accuracy. Both are 12 gauge. The Auto 5 was the first successful semi-automatic shotgun ever made, with over 3 million produced worldwide. If you hunt, you probably know someone who owns one. Bond also uses a spear gun underwater, showing his willingness to adapt to any environment. You Only Live Twice from 1967 keeps the PPK as Bond's main sidearm. While disguised as a fisherman in Japan, he uses a Colt Detective Special in 38 Special to take down an assassin. This American revolver, with its 2-inch barrel, was a favorite of police officers for decades. The production team made some mistakes in this film. A Colt Model 1903 pocket hammerless replaces the PPK in certain dock scenes. During the Volcano Lair attack, Bond picks up both a Webley MKR-4 and a Colt New Service, depending on the shot. The New Service was used by the U.S. military and remains valuable to collectors. Diamonds Are Forever in 1971 gives Bond his Walther PPK with brown grips, but he never actually fires it. He draws it during a hotel room search, but this film focuses more on gadgets than gunfights. After 1968, import restrictions on the PPK led to U.S. licensed versions being produced domestically. George Lazenby stepped into the role for just one film. On Her Majesty's Secret Service in 1969 featured more intense action than previous entries. Bond fires his Walther PPK at Blofeld during a bobsled chase. He also carries a Sterling Mk4 submachine gun in 9mm during the assault on Piz Gloria. The Sterling was a British design from World War II that fired 550 rounds per minute. American Special Forces used it in Vietnam. Roger Moore took over in 1973 with Live and Let Die. His Bond was lighter in tone, with humor and gadgets often taking center stage. The guns frequently played second fiddle to spectacular stunts and one-liners. Moore would play the role for 12 years across 7 films, the longest run of any Bond actor. The PPK shows up in his first film, but never gets fired. The villain Tee actually bends it with his metal arm, destroying Bond's signature weapon in a display of strength. Later, Bond uses a Smith & Wesson Model 29 and 44 Magnum during a rescue scene, firing all 6 rounds. This is the same gun Clint Eastwood made famous as Dirty Harry just 2 years earlier, often called the most powerful handgun in the world. The nickel finish made it look even more impressive on camera. The Man with the Golden Gun in 1974 puts the PPK front and center. Bond uses it constantly for searches, threats, and the final duel against Scaramanga. He also examines the villain's custom Golden Gun, a single-shot weapon assembled from a pen, lighter, cufflink, and cigarette case. The duel scene demonstrates the PPK's accuracy at 20 paces. The Spy Who Loved Me from 1977 shows the PPK jamming inside a special gun tube gadget. Bond briefly uses a Beretta 70 at the Pyramids. During the climactic battle aboard the supertanker Liparis, he fires a Sterling L2A3 submachine gun. The Sterling's folding stock made it compact enough for naval operations. Moonraker in 1979 has very little gunplay. Bond uses a Holland & Holland Royal double-barreled shotgun to shoot a sniper during a pheasant hunt. These British luxury shotguns cost thousands of dollars on the American market. For Your Eyes Only in 1981 brings back the PPK in 32 ACP. Bond fires it during a beach assault against the villain Locke. Some shots reveal the prop gun was missing its trigger, a production oversight. Octopussy in 1983 upgrades Bond to a Walther P5 in 9 meters, larger than the PPK. He also wears a holstered M19 11A1 in 45 ACP while in military uniform, and fires an AR-15 SP1 to disable a truck. The M1911 is John Browning's masterpiece, the quintessential American military pistol still used by Marines today. A View to a Kill in 1985 features the PPK being taken away by Mayday. Bond uses a Remington Model 31 loaded with rock salt and a Winchester Model 12 against intruders. The Model 12 is an American pump action that saw service in World War II and remains popular with hunters. Timothy Dalton brought a grittier Bond to screens, aligning with the harder-edged action films of the late 1980s. His interpretation was closer to the novels, more serious and less reliant on jokes. The Living Daylights in 1987 shows the suppressed PPK used to threaten General Pushkin in a tense hotel room confrontation. Bond also snipes with a Walther WA 2300 Winchester Magnum, an extremely rare German precision rifle with only a 176 ever made. Collectors in America prize this gun for its engineering and scarcity, so if you ever see one at a gun show, take a close look. It appears in the opening sequence when Bond must wound a KGB sniper. He also fires an AKMS in 7.62 IC 39mm during a thrilling plane escape sequence in Afghanistan. The Aston Martin in this film features vehicle-mounted weapons including lasers and missiles. License to Kill in 1989 keeps the PPK as Bond's sidearm. He has a conversation about the gun with the villain Sanchez, who recognizes it as a British agent's weapon. During action sequences, he fires a Taurus PT-92 in 9mm from a helicopter and uses a tiny Beretta 950 Jetfire in 25 ACP given to him by his ally Pam Bouvier. The PT-92 is a Brazilian-made Beretta clone that you can pick up affordably if you are looking for a reliable 9mm option. Pierce Brosnan updated Bond for the post-Cold War era. GoldenEye in 1995 features the suppressed PPK used in a factory infiltration and a sauna confrontation. The arms dealer Zukovsky identifies it immediately. Bond also commandeers AKS-74U rifles in 5.45 by 39mm multiple times throughout the film. Tomorrow Never Dies in 1997 marks a major transition. Bond starts with his PPK but switches to a Walther P999 in 9mm from Wylin's Armory. The P99's ergonomic design made it popular with American law enforcement, so you might have seen officers carrying one, and it would become Bond's new signature weapon. The World Is Not Enough from 1999 makes the P99 primary. It gets rigged as a stun grenade in one scene. Bond takes M19 1LL1 and Colt MK4 Series 70 pistols from enemies, both in 45 ACP. He also uses a Steyr TMP and an FN P90. The P90 is Belgian-made and used by the U.S. Secret Service for its ability to defeat body armor. Die Another Day in 2002 keeps the P99 as Bond's main weapon. He fires a Smith & Wesson Model 10 in a clinic, an Ingram Mac-10 during a chase, and an Accuracy International Arctic Warfare sniper rifle with suppressor. The Arctic Warfare is British-designed but widely used by American military snipers. Daniel Craig's Bond was raw and brutal from the start, rebooting the franchise for modern audiences. Casino Royale in 2006 uses the P99 extensively, including in the climactic Venice finale where an entire building collapses into a canal. The prologue features the PPK during Bond's first two kills, establishing his 00 status. He takes a Browning high power from a desk drawer and confronts Mr. White with a suppressed Heckler & Koch UMP9 in the final scene. The high power holds 13 rounds, and Canadian-made versions remain popular in America, so you may have shot one yourself at some point. Quantum of Solace in 2008 picks up directly after Casino Royale. Bond fires the PPK upside down during a chaotic opening car chase through Italian tunnels. He takes a Sig Sauer P226 during a lift fight in an opera house, an HK UMP9 during a pursuit through crowded streets, and a SIG P210 from the villain Medrano in the burning hotel climax. The P226 was adopted by Navy SEALs for its ruggedness in adverse conditions. Skyfall in 2012 introduces a palm-coated Walther PPK-S that only Bond can fire. It fails when he wears gloves, so he switches to a standard PPK. He commandeers Glock 17 pistols, dual HK-416 rifles, and an Anderson Wheeler chambered for 500 Nitro Express. The HK-416 is a favorite of Delta Force operators. Spectre in 2015 features Bond chambering his PPK and firing at a helicopter in the opening sequence. He uses captured weapons throughout, including a Heckler & Koch VP9, a Glock 17 and a carbine kit, a SIG P226R, a Steyr AUG-A3, and a SA VZ58 compact. The VP9 is a striker-fired pistol that sells well in American civilian markets, and if you have been shopping for a 9mm recently, you have probably considered one. No Time to Die in 2021 gave Bond his final mission. He carries the PPK with an extended beaver tail, a Browning high power, a SIG P226R, an AKS-74U, a Colt Mank 18 Mod 0, and a Beretta ARX-160A3 with grenade launcher attached. The ARX-160 is Italian-made with modular features that appeal to American tactical users. From the Walther PPK in 1962 to assault rifles and grenade launchers in 2021, Bond's weapons have evolved alongside the character himself. Over 50 unique firearms across 25 films, each one chosen to fit the era, the actor, and the story being told. These guns are movie props, but they have become part of cinema history. They tell us about changing times, evolving technology, and 60 years of the world's most famous secret agent.